Hey everybody, it's Catrice from When Models Talk. Today we are going to have an amazing live. Check us out every Thursday at 7 p.m. There will be a new person that will be sharing not only their expertise, but just sharing who they are as a person. The whole point of this live is for everyone to be able to see not just a beautiful face, not just what you see on Instagram, what you see on social media, but actually get to know that person on a different type of level. So that's one of the reasons why I am doing When Models Talk. But also check out the podcast When Models Talk on Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Podcast, and Radio Cast. Also check out the YouTube for all episodes on Models Like Me. Subscribe. Thank you. Subscribe. You can comment also. As well as check out Instagram, Models Like Me Consulting Agency, which will be coming soon. And Facebook under Catrice Bailey, you can catch a few episodes of When Models Talk. All right. Hey. How you doing? You gotta take this energy I got and give it to you.
Yeah. You're right.
Just get the energy. And I shouldn't have no energy right now, but I got it.
Crazy.
You good? I said, are you good?
I'm looking crazy today.
You look fine. You look fine. You don't look crazy. You might to you might look crazy. To me, you don't. You look good. Okay, so let me introduce you. Because it's all about having fun and having a good time and, share this energy. I want it to rub off on you. Okay, everybody. Andre Freeland is known for his style, known for his if you ever see any of his Instagram or you seen any of his work, he is known for just the luxury brand, and not just the luxury brand, but so much more. He is a wardrobe stylist, a musician, an actor, a commercial video runway print model. Andre has been on commercials such as Sugarhouse Casino. I've seen that, and I've seen the commercials too. And TD Bank, and so many more. He has also been on multiple billboards. Now, that's just one of my goals. I'll just, can I get a billboard? That's all I want. You had multiple. Can I just get one? And he is also signed to the wonderful agency, Reinhardt Agency in Philadelphia. Everyone help me welcome Andre Freeland.
Hey, y'all.
Okay, so as an icebreaker, just to get rid of any nerves, if you have nerves or whatever it is, we're going to play a game from derrickjaxn, Mentally Stimulate Me. And this is what it looks like. But we're going to play this particular one. It's a whole set. This particular one is God Don't Like Ugly. We're going to play that one.
Okay.
Okay, so you just answer A, B, or C, or D. And if you don't like any of those answers, you just make up your own. Okay, so the first question is, you have a chance to sit in front row of any gospel concert, comedy show, basketball game, or Broadway play you want, regardless of cost. Which one do you choose? A, gospel concert, B, comedy show, C, basketball game, or D, Broadway play?
I need gospel at this moment.
I know that's right. Look, can I catch the Holy Ghost in the audience?
Yeah. I think I need that at this moment. Yeah.
Look. God got you. That's all you need to know is he got you. He will never give you more than you can handle.
Amen.
And every time he do give you something that's like, oh my gosh, I'm about to break, guess what? That means you're just going to be stronger for the next time. Because he got you. That's all you need to know. He got you. Okay, so the next question. Okay. Now, you're behind on rent and in need of a blessing. Pastor says if you're behind on rent and is in need of a blessing, plant the financial seed of the keys to your car at the altar, and God and God's going to take care of it. Do you plant the seeds? I don't know about no keys to my car. Did the Lord tell me to do that? Did he come to me? Yes, no, it depends. I'm going to need the Lord to tell me that, because the Lord has told me some things. And I did it and I got blessed. But I don't know about the pastor telling me that. Did the Lord, do you have a conversation with the Lord? I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's
right.
Earthly man, though. That's not
all right now.
the Lord. All right.
I'm gonna have to go pray on that one.
Yeah,
Like, Jesus,
I
let me
agree
get
with
this
that.
place real quick. Let me hope before I give you them keys. Wait a minute. Okay, last question. All right, got one. In an effort to promote self-love, the church wants to cast a vote to ban weaves and makeup while inside the building. Will you vote in favor of the ban or be against the ban to promote self-love?
I don't know. To each his own. I don't really make decisions on other folks' decisions.
I say there has been some people that had, I think it's something that if you want to do it where you like, I choose not to wear none, but I don't think banning it officially where people can promote self-love regardless, where they just get on anything and just not wear makeup or not wear weave and just be all natural. It's just your choice.
Mm-hmm. It's
but
choices.
I'm not about to be sitting here putting the whole rule in the church saying it's banned. No. They got free choice. What is it? Freedom of choice? Something. It's something. Okay. So let's get into these topics. Okay, so I'm gonna break them down real quick for you, and then we're gonna dive right on in. So the topics for today are being a stylist, music, letting people go, auditions, do better when you know better, seeing your greatness, role model, past versus present history, things change, and modeling. All right. Sounds good. All right. So first I want to say, how did you become a stylist?
I think innately by me being a young kid, a young boy, and sharing a room with my dad as a young father, who was very fashion forward. And he taught me things that a lot of young men are not getting these days. I do believe that because a lot of time men are sometimes absent, but that doesn't make it a rule. And a lot of time women are raising the son. And people say that a woman can't raise a son. But there are certain things a young boy needs from a man.
Absolutely.
So I was blessed to have that dad who I mimic, should I say, not so much to sit down and taught me how to groom. I watched what he did. Back in the day, he didn't have a place you would go to. A man would get his nails, a salon, and have that done. So it was done by maybe the wife or female friend or something of that nature. I've seen him groom himself. I've seen how he would put smells on, how to shave, and all that great stuff. So I had somebody to emulate as a young man. So that to me was a blessing, and I learned how to nurture it as I was growing up around a young pop. So did I miss anything from that question? I probably did, but what is it?
Okay. No, that's good, because I think it's
how did I get into the business? Was that it? Or was it about fashion? How did I get into the world of fashion?
How did you become a stylist?
Stylist came by chance to me. It came to me not knowing I wanted even to be a stylist. I like fashion, but I also didn't know I wanted to style somebody else. And I was used to be in this underground thing in Philadelphia where what they call the Black Lily, where a lot of the
Black Lily,
young couple, it was called the Black Lily, it derived around two women. And I don't know if you guys might have heard of the Roots Crew. And it was actually a nice venue to go to, particularly if you're in the arts or love the arts, where you would see anybody would come to this room. Jill Scott was Hone Her Bones there, Lady Alma, and so many different greats. Jeff Bradshaw, I can just go on and on and on. Erica Badu would walk through that room.
Wow.
Just so many awesome artists. And there was one particular artist that I just chose to, well, Andre, I think you should do a little styling because along with them being musicians, there's also things about a whole package being happening when you're in that business. It's not
Yeah.
just you performing; it's about your look and all that. Even though I don't think that all matters, if you sound well and you do well, you
Mm-hmm.
still should get the gig. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what the business is about, what you look like.
Mm.
And I approached this young lady and said, I want to do some styling, but I need a muse, and I would like you to be my muse. And that's basically how I started getting to want to help and at least support.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I felt like I was the most awesome stylist at that
Mm-hmm.
time. I had to learn. I was
Yeah.
learning through her, and I'm grateful for that she gave me that opportunity. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into the world of styling.
That's
That's
good.
hmm
Because not only did you have to learn so many skills by not just saying, first of all, you spoke up and said, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance and I'm actually going to say something. And that led to so much more just by you opening your mouth and saying something like, okay, I want to take a chance and be your stylist. And it's not that you did it even in the like this is something you've been doing for a while. It's just this is your first time. But you already had the background as far as knowing certain things in fashion because your dad was a very nice looking man on top of his style. So you got it.
and it's tough too because I was coming in the world from knowing how to dress a man,
Yeah.
and here I'm ready to
Mm.
try to dress a woman. What could I do? But I was blessed also too to have grandparents and a mother who was very into the foundation, like what people call Spanx and all that stuff now
Uh-huh.
for women. A lot of women did that back in the day. They were armored up and everything. You never seen this hanging out of there, this hanging out of there. That
Mm-hmm.
was something that I would actually see in my home. So I had that also to add into my repertoire of what I was going to do to move forward. So I was
Mm-hmm.
really learning as I was going along.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's a good thing you said that because a lot of people may think that like when Spanx came out, I just thought, Spanx came out and that's when it started. But it was something that was already going on way back in the day.
girdles. They would call them girdles. They had all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things that they would put underneath for my grandmother would use underneath for sweating. So it's not,
Mm-hmm.
if you're having a silk shirt or a top or whatever, it wouldn't mess up and stain your clothing or give that
Yeah.
ugly look as you're
Yeah.
dressed. So it was a lot of things that was learned in my home,
Mm-hmm.
been around fashionable women and men, that I probably just took it on or remembered it when it was time to use it.
Okay, well, I'm happy you did because then that means you're going to be able to help so many other people when it pertains to styling and just so far everything you've done when it
hmm
pertains to fashion, especially because you already know how to dress yourself. So now it's taking on a whole new mindset of learning how to dress women.
Yeah, that's a little animal. Yeah.
And then I'm sure with women, it's like, how different is that when you're dressing a woman versus a man, considering body type?
It was a learning for me because it was a really learning for me because now I'm dealing with um, a full-figure woman I was
Mm-hmm.
dealing with, and the full-figure woman was not easy for me to probably go over to a place, a store, and
Mm-hmm.
pull clothing from. Then the stores that they did have for full-figure women, they don't
Mm-hmm.
usually do elegant things, a lot of elegant things for full-figure women, which is not
Mm-hmm.
fair. So you have to be very creative in styling and imagery and to make that full figure woman look just like that
Yeah.
slim woman or this small figure woman. So
Yeah.
it's a lot, and it's said that because you're not looking out for every woman that wants to be fashionable or look
Yeah.
well, so you have to work harder because a lot of times when they do have stores that are full figure, a lot of times their clothing is very matronly.
Mm-hmm.
She don't want to be matronly either. She want to be dressed like any other woman would.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw and wanted to have the best I could do with the artists I was dealing with.
And would you
And I, again, thank her for that challenge.
And would you say that back in the day there was so less of opportunity to dress a full woman as far as stores are concerned versus now?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that so much. I mean, even before my time, when I look at pictures of
Mm-hmm.
aunts and my grandmother and them, or some women that were little four-figured,
Mm-hmm.
they were they were pretty put together, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but they were into things like the proper bra, the proper fitting, the proper thing that's going to make that dress look nice and sleek on her, opposed
Mm-hmm.
to seeing every bump and bruise. You know what I mean? People
Mm-hmm.
have them, but if you want to look like have a clean look, it's a certain thing you have to do to make that happen.
Yeah.
A lot of women, particularly, they are not into Spanx, or they don't want to wear things to hold them in it, and
Nope.
it it takes them through a thing like it just it's not forgiving for me. I feel comfortable with it, and I understand it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do to learn? I always had my little thing for full-figure girls: buy things that skim your body, not hug your body. You know, and once you know your body, you know exactly what to put on that body. But if I don't know who I am and what I am, I mean, you don't know if you're a pear-shaped woman or hourglass-shaped woman, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to learn what works for your body type and what
Yeah.
type of outfits work. It can be A-line, it could be, well, depending on what you're wearing and your shape, it's
Yeah.
going to sell that garment. And once you know that,
Mm-hmm.
stay what you know, and it's always going to work.
Well, I can agree with that because I was never a fashionista. And the only reason I even started learning more about fashion is when I started getting into modeling. Because I was a
Hmm.
tomboy back in the day. So I wore baggy pants, me and my 32, 34, and I was like a size one. Don't ask me why I did it, but I did. And those are the things I would wear and t-shirts growing up. That was me. I didn't really start changing my clothes until I went to the store and I got these pair of cute bell bottom-ish, because I love me some bell bottoms, bell bottom pants at age 14, and they were nicely fit. And I told myself, I was like, I look good in these. Why was I wearing baggy clothes again? And then even after that, it was still blue jeans and like a white tank top or a shirt, or matter of fact, a short sleeve shirt. So the only time I actually transitioned is when I started getting into modeling, and they would put you in different clothes. So you would try
Hmm.
the clothes on, you're like, this looks good on me. But the problem is, you have people making these clothes, and then when they make these clothes, you're not finding the same clothes in the store. So some of the outfits I would wear, I'm like, oh, I want that outfit. It's not for sale, so you're not going to get it.
Hmm.
But how can I find the same thing in a store? A lot of times I can't find it because I just don't know how to operate like that. And then you watch shows where you'll see somebody in this nice, cute pencil suit, dress with the gold zipper on the back, or you'll see something, you'll be like, where do they get these clothes for these shows? But I wish they just put, like, you know how on Instagram they have like a little dot for the clothes. This is where you get it from, and it goes straight there. If they do that, that would be so much better. Can they just have it in the what is it called, in the credits at the end of the movie? This is where you go to get clothes, the outfits,
Hmm.
because that would help me. I still might have to get it tailored though, because I went to New York and Company, and they actually and it was a Gabrielle Union line. And I saw her stuff because I love me some Gabrielle Union. And when I say I tried on the clothes, but it didn't fit right. So that means, because it's like a certain size or woman's body, so that means I have to go get it tailored. So where do I go? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you have to do your homework. You have to, but everybody can't know everything. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? So it's always good to research or pay attention to somebody that you admire
Yes.
in their style and their fashion. Somebody may be in your same um, stature or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and do your thing and play with it. It's fun. You got a mirror, use a mirror, and you play with it. And then once you start learning little things about yourself and your body, it starts making it becomes easier. once you get used into a certain role that you normally do, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes comfortable for you,
Yeah.
you know. But you can do it.
I'm gonna work on it.
Certainly.
That's why, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a lot of money and I'm just gonna get a stylist. Boom. We ain't got nothing to worry
Okay.
about. I ain't got
That's
one
even
more
better.
work today. I'm gonna leave it to
That's even
somebody
better.
else to do.
Gotcha. That's even better.
All right, so let's get into modeling. How did you get started with modeling?
How did I get started with modeling? I don't even, I think when I was a young boy and would go to a couple little shows, I was always into going to fashion shows back in the day. They used to have ebony fashion shows and things of that nature. I would always go. I never felt like I was equipped to have what they're looking for in the model. And also, back then, most model men had to be 6 feet,
Mm.
simply because when a woman's dressed in her heels, he has to stand a little couple inches over top of her. So I certainly wasn't 6 foot,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know anything about modeling that they had behind aside runway modeling. I didn't know anything about commercial print, video, none of that kind of stuff. I just thought it was just you had to be a 6 foot male model.
Yeah.
So years later, uh, I worked with this young lady who was an awesome model, and also she wasn't signed with anybody at the beginning, but she was everything that a modelist woman would be. Her walk, her stature. She asked me to go to this agency that I'm with now. She asked me to go to this audition.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the audition, and they take me in this room separately and had me walk up and down. And I'm saying to myself, they're not gonna hire me. I'm not even 6 feet. I'm sick with the flu and the whole thing that day. Anyway, long story short, she got the gig and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm proud of her that she got the gig. So years later, the
Mm-hmm.
same agency, I'm in the salon, make the story short, and a woman said, do you model? See me walking through the salon. I said, I have modeled, but not, for a reputable agency or anything of that nature. She said, well, you need to be thinking about it. My uncle's at this such and such a modeling school, and I mean, is modeling, and he's 60.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, he's 60. I'm out of work. Just got laid off from work. What can I lose? Go back to his agency. So I went and got a couple of headshots. And during that time, you can kind of walk into the office. They would have what they call cattle calls,
Mm-hmm.
or certain times of day you can just come in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like an open
I went
call
in,
type of thing.
like an open call. And which you don't usually do that now. Now you have to basically go online and do all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff to get work. So I go in, sit down with this young lady, and she was excited about my pictures. And they signed me. And that was like years later. And that's how I got into it. And so then that's when I learned about it, was more stuff than me doing Runway. So I do a lot of commercial print, video print. Um, I will say that if you speak well,
Mm-hmm.
voiceovers is a lot of where that money is at. If you're into doing voiceovers, just know your craft,
Yeah.
study your craft, and you're always learning. It's always somebody can teach you something. And pay attention to when they are giving you scripts or things you have to do for audition. Pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to how you should probably walk, act, or pose, or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Get into character.
Yeah.
But that's how I got into the modeling.
See, because it wasn't supposed to happen when you started in the beginning. It was
No,
supposed to happen
things
when it's
happen when it's
supposed
supposed
to
to
happen.
happen.
God was like, nope, not now. We're gonna wait a
Not
couple
yet.
of years. So, and then boom, it just took off from there. So is that the picture where you was wearing dreads? Remember in the picture
No,
on your Instagram?
I didn't have locks. I mean, I wasn't working on an agency when had locks.
I
That
was
was
like,
just a
he
photo
had
shoot
locks.
I was always having photo shoots with different agencies, but I never really pushed myself, like sending them to people that just like, work with good photographers and that picture's done.
Okay, because I gotta mention these locks. You actually look really, really good with the locks too. I was
Thank
like,
you.
I've seen you, all sleek and clean, low cut, everything else. And then I really like the look where your hair is, you were in a fashion show and your hair was, you had a nice tailored suit on and your hair was up like this or something like that. But it was really, really nice. And I was like, look at the different dynamics of how you can look. It's good. I can picture you now with some dreads. It look nice.
I tried. Well, I always play with hair. I always played with hair. At age 12, I had a pair of clippers.
Oh.
And I would start playing with my hair. And I would realize that those little guards that's on the clippers tells you where you stop, where you don't get too short or XYZ. And you make errors. And I felt like it was only hair. So if I make an error, I just have it shorter. Simple as that. Then I wore locks for 6 years. And after that, the barber I was working with, who now works with Tyler Perry, he moved to Atlanta. And I moved to Philly. And I was like, well, I don't know. This young guy was doing my hair. And he said, well, who's been doing your hair? I said, I've been cutting it. He said, well, you do a good job. And if you're not a good stylist, you got to know the precision of a person's hair. You know, the type of hair to hair, you know, for which the cut to last. And I have that. So I said, you know what? I could save me some money.
I know that's what
I will cut my hair. And I've been cutting my hair for years. You know, sometimes you hit and miss, but I know how to blend and make it look like XYZ. Then I have a natural curly wave at the bottom so I can wash my hair, wet my hair, and kind of style it so I can get away with kind of looks. Then sometimes maybe not be the best cut, but I make it work.
Hey, well, you make it look good every time. Every time I see a photo,
I try, but I have my hit and misses. It's all right.
No, you should see me as a mom trying to cut my boys' hair. They can't stand it. I learned to get it low though. I learned the low cuts. Sometimes you might got a patch here that's maybe a little too low to the head, to the scalp, but I try. You know.
I'll show you. We'll get together one day and I'll show you how to make their cut their hair and what they use.
Right now, they need a haircut so bad, but I normally leave it up to their dad to cut their hair when they're with him. But if he forgets to do it, then I'm like, where my clippers? I'm about to cut something. But they be like, Mom, please. But then I've learned that when their hair is too long, it's harder for me to cut like this. It starts making these weird noises when I'm trying to cut their hair. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Let me stop.
Well, sometimes if you try to put oil on the blades, because they'll start pulling. They'll start pulling his hair. So that's why that oil that you put in the clipper, that helps that happening.
Okay, I'm gonna try it on the little one's head first.
not a lot of oil. Yeah.
You know, I'm a mama trying to figure it out, especially when it comes to boys, but I can't do it all. And sometimes I can't have it where everybody goes and get their hair cut. So I got to figure out how to do things on my own.
Trial and error. You can do it.
And even with my hair, it's like, I know how to stick to the basics, but I actually want to rock a short hairstyle one day. But I've been working so hard to get my hair long that I'm like, I just worked so hard. Why would I start over?
It's only hair.
I guess.
How you gonna know until you? Only hair.
I guess. Maybe I need to just adopt that mindset. Maybe I need to, get that in my head that it's just hair. And then, boom. And at the end of the day, they have weaves that you can talk on.
And that's probably more out there than natural hair these days. When
I saw one time where somebody literally had a nice set of braids in their hair, looked very, very nice, like nice braids. Literally, they pulled it back and it was a wig. And I was so shocked. But it looked so good. And I was like, I want them braids because that'll save me time and energy. But besides that, let's talk about music because you are a musician.
Well,
how did that even come about? When did you realize that music was a gift of yours? Like how did that start?
A kid. A kid. As a kid, but I didn't have, grandmother raised me. Then I had a younger, dad. So nobody was really nurturing me in that way, and I wasn't a very outspoken kid. I think when I once said it to my grandmother, I said, I know what I want to do when I grow up. And she said, what is that? I said, I want to sing. I want to do music. She said, you're going to get a 9 to 5. Entertainment is not a lifestyle you live, which I kind of understood when I got older, because back then you had like the Billie Holidays and addiction and stuff like that. People would get into different things in that world. And she probably thought and seen the negative of the business.
Yeah.
So what it did is shut me down. I never talked about it, you know. You know, I might sing around the house a little bit, but I never talked about it until I was a little older. Yeah. And I started going into to the theater schools and taking little classes, and that's how I got. But I think innately I always loved music, because it was always around. My grandfather was playing jazz, my mother was playing R&B and stuff like that. So I was around music very young, different genres of music as well.
Okay, well that's good. Where have you because I was looking on your Instagram trying to do my research, and I was like, I wish he would have put like something on his Instagram where he was singing so I can hear it.
I think it's something on YouTube and not on Instagram.
Well, you gotta make sure you give your YouTube so I can check it out. Okay.
You know,
so, I know you talked about as far as being a musician, there's styling goes into that too, as far as helping someone having to be you know, well put together, especially when you're on stage. You can't just be wearing any old thing. Got to be like a little, you know, pizzazz to it.
Well, that's what the business is about. The business is about glam, and it's a story, a whole story to it. It's not just you standing up there flat foot singing, even though a lot of artists prefer just saying, I just want to be me and I want to do what I do as an artist and sing, which is a little freer today than it was probably yesteryear. But if you get in certain levels of the career, they want to change who you are. I mean, you might like your braids, and they might want to have you with a short cut, or they might want to have you with straight hair or permed hair, and it might not be you. But that could be part of the business. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't think you should change people wholeheartedly of that's their magic, because that's the essence of that person. Yeah. Their look, how they feel, how comfortable they feel on stage, how they feel uncomfortable with the audience. I'm hearing your voice. I'm hearing your craft, but that's me. You know, but the industry guides you places that you don't want to go. And it's tough. It's a tough business. Yeah. Very tough business.
I know where I've seen like some artists where they would go into music and their style and everything else would be so over the top for years. And then like the third or fourth year, when they made so much happen and they're successful, all of a sudden it's a completely different person.
They could be
like they're so
it can
calm. It's like, now I can do it the way I want to do it. That's
and it's tough. It's really a tough thing. It's with somebody dictating something that you enjoy doing and loving and all that, you know. But that's what happens in the industry. I don't think it's as deep as it used to be when it comes to that, because people get a little more casual, particularly now, probably more casual with this pandemic.
Heck yeah. They sure are. But
they had to change it.
But the good thing about it is, I think right now, during everything that's going on, people are really learning more about their work. They're learning more about themselves, especially people that are by themselves more often. It's like, okay, and even couples, they're learning more about, okay, I don't really know the person I'm with right now. So we got to learn each other all over again, because it's so much hustle and bustle, so much going on.
So it's like God saying, well, I'm putting everybody would have to be with their family, their loved ones. You can't be in the street, because back in the day we had conversations. You had places you can go that you can enjoy, family and friends. You don't have you had to eat together. You know, when we grew up, we had eaten as a family. A lot of that isn't happening anymore. So the structure of the family has changed.
Yes.
Very bad. It's sad, but it's changed a lot. We don't sit and eat no more, and talk no more with each other. Everybody's in their own thing. Everybody's on the phone. Everybody's, you know, that has to come back. And I think that's what the creator is saying.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I try to do as a parent is every time we eat, me and my kids, I'm like, everybody to the table. Because I know growing up, and until we reached, I think, a certain point, my mom always had everybody at the same table. We all ate together. We all, you know, and nobody moved until everybody was done. That used to irk me when people start getting up from the table because they done with their food. I'm like, can we have a conversation? No TV on, none of that. No, I want to talk to y'all. Can we get to know each other? You know, I might not know that you're going through something when I might be able to help. But now, hopefully, that's what COVID's doing right now. You know, God is making it possible for people to do the things that we could not do before, and that is spend more time, more quality time with our loved ones, and not be on the phone 24/7. Because I take phones.
Gotcha.
I take. They be mad. They get mad at me, but I take them. Okay, so getting into seeing your greatness now. So what's the difference when it comes to like expressing yourself? The difference between being confident and thinking that you're better than someone else. Because I know you told me a story at one time. What is that story that you told me when you were working at the mall and a young man saw you, but he said he wanted to be like you?
Well, he basically was, I guess, couple of young gentlemen. I was walking through several times. I walked. I think they worked in the mall along where I worked at that time, and they were. And I walked past. They was giving this kind of give a little thuggish thing going on. So I'm like, okay, I ain't with these young brothers and what they about. And I walked past the following day, and I heard one say, "I want to be like old head." And I wasn't ready for old head at that time, but I had to. And when I digested it, I heard him saying that was a term of endearment. That he admired something about me that made him want to change in some sort of way. And a lot of times I had a lot of the aspiration of people around me growing up, particularly at pop. And you don't see a lot of that today. I'm not saying there's no people out here, no brothers or nobody out here or out here trying to groom young brothers, but a lot of young brothers are into some crazy stuff today. So a lot of old heads from like yesteryear that you can approach when you were younger, we were coming out. You don't know how to approach them, you know, today. And it's sad because you want to support our youth because they're going to be the leaders of the world. Yeah. So that was a great thing for me to acknowledge because I didn't know how to take it at that time. I was like, oh, I'm just Andre. I'm blah, blah, blah. But Andre, all of us has something to give.
Exactly.
Even when you may not think it in yourself, but you can't take that away from them if they see something in you that makes them want to be great.
Yep. And I think it's just like you said, not taking it away from them. So, and not downplaying yourself, seeing your greatness. So not downplaying yourself in a sense of, okay, I'm just Andre. No, you're not. I've done this plenty of times. I'm like, I'm just Catrice. But there's something that somebody sees in you that they're like, that's what I want. And don't get me wrong, you could be going through so much stuff, but that one thing that they see, it gives them hope. It gives them something to want to go after. Like, how is he so well put together? And so, like, okay, for example, I had a friend, and I met this person for a short period of time, a female, and she saw models. She saw so much. That's what she saw, and she saw the image. But I'm like, I'm human too. So then as we got to know each other, she realized that I had a lot going on. And then she was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, hold on, you got a lot going on, but you're just like me. You're just like me. I mean, you may be this on the outside, but you also are human. So you're going to go through things. Everything's not perfect in your life. But I still also see, you know, what I could work on and where I could be at the same time. So either way, see your greatness. That's all I'm trying to say. See your greatness. See that when somebody is complimenting you, take it in. A lot of times the first thing we do is we push it away instead of just saying, you know what, I am great. I do look good.
You have to know that though. Some people don't. Some people don't. Or it could have been how they were raised or how people treat them. Yeah. And they lose that magic. But we all come from. And once you know who you are, don't let nobody intimidate you. When somebody is simply trying to intimidate you, that's usually their insecurity.
Yes, absolutely.
Basically, It's usually that insecurity, and they're looking for something, probably something from you, just don't know how to ask for it. You know, in order to be that person.
Yes, it's true, because I think a lot of people, a lot of things that stem between how people are, how they act, everything they do, it all starts in the beginning. Maybe they were told, maybe they were a label was put on them that you're this, and sometimes not a positive label. Some people you can tell when they are raised with a positive label put on them, because it just comes through them. Like, no, my parents always told me to be confident, like to do your best, and I'm going to do my best. Where some people, they weren't always told that. Next question, let's get into auditions. So how do you normally prepare for an audition? Whether it's for a commercial like TD Bank, whether it's the Sugarhouse Casino. How was that? Because I did a Sugarhouse Casino. I didn't get it though, but I did it. You got it.
You
Maybe
will.
you came after me, and they
You
saw
will. Yeah, auditioning for commercial and stuff like that is a little different. It's not intense, because you usually tell you what you're going to be doing,
mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
to me, once I get on the shoot or whatever it is, the video or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I just go into character. I know what we're looking for. I know what I was supposed to be playing. If I was supposed to be playing somebody older, or I was supposed to play somebody's husband.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting that relationship with that particular person that you're working with, and you become, like a mate. It has to look authentic.
Yeah.
Can't look at the person if you can't even stand them, if that's not part of the role. So you get this relationship.
Yeah.
We're a couple, and that's how we're going to work this thing out. And for whatever it is, the role I'm in, I'm thinking on how I'm going to integrate with that other person that I'm working with, so we can still feel like the chemistry is there.
Yeah.
It's all about chemistry. So that's what I do. I read what the script is, and then when I meet the person, we sit with each other for a bit,
mm-hmm.
and we go into character.
But
just relax and just go into character.
Okay, so you're good at this. Now I'm gonna tell you about myself. So when I went to the Sugarhouse one, right? I had to for the audition. I just met this guy. I did not know who he was, and that's normally not a problem for me. But when I met him, they told us, okay, this is what you got to do, and you have to act very excited, like y'all just won, yada yada yada, on the slots or whatever it was. So I guess we were a little off cue. The chemistry wasn't there because it just didn't go well. I was just like, oh my gosh, it would have been nice if I would have got it.
I think it's you think too hard about it, because you think, well, I'm going to do this, that right, they're going to do that the right way. Don't think about it, because if you start thinking about it, now it puts you in question. If you're not thinking about it, it just naturally happen. It's like Stephen Hudgens, the photographer that you know. When I first started shooting with him, I was doing a shoot with him, and he was telling me how to do some hand motions of how to, which is probably one of them pictures that you have from off that you have. And I would take my hand up. He would tell me to take my hand up, and I would stop, like midstream. And he would say to me, if you were naturally doing that, it wouldn't just stop in the middle. It just sort of naturally just fell into place. And I got it. Your hand just don't just freeze up like that, because now you tensed up. You just naturally let things happen. This natural ability happen. We're trying to project the right photo, and we have to know we got to know our body enough, or what to do with our body, or with our hands, with our eyes, with our, what's her name, Miss Banks. What she call it, smize.
Yes.
With the smize, Yeah, so it's all those things you learn. I don't think I actually sat with them. I actually got classes on how to do X, Y, Z. But some people innately just have it.
Yeah.
Or if you're around people enough, you start emulating and start seeing, okay, wow, they just relax, and that's how to just be your natural self.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's basically all they're asking is be your natural.
Yeah, it just reminds me to remind myself to just be me when I'm doing something, because If I'm literally overthinking something, it does not go right at all.
It throws your whole square off. You got to come out of yourself and go into character. You have to go out of yourself. It's still you, but
Mm-hmm.
now you're going into this other person. You're this other person.
Yeah.
That's what that mirror is for.
Now I know you talked a little bit about your dad being around and him showing you at an early age how to groom yourself, how to basically be him in a sense, as far as in that lane. So, how important is it today to for a child not only to be taught that process, but also the importance of having a role model, especially if you're a child that is maybe in a single family home, especially a male? How important is that?
It's very important, and that's almost a. I hate to say what I'm about to say. It's almost like a lost. It's not like a career. It's something just lost. You
Mm-hmm.
know, lost what was I'm trying to say. But anyway, it's and it needs to. That's why if they're not getting it home, it's my job. It's the next person's job. It's
Yeah.
the next person's job
Yeah.
because that's what I was raised. It was a village. What you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get, what you were doing out on that street, you had somebody that could say to you, your pop, or your dad, mom, that you're doing X, Y, Z, and they were able to chastise you
Yes, they were.
without nothing happening to you. Now that's not happening. It's almost
Nope.
the kid is basically running the home today. Because there's so many things out here, addiction, so many things, or people are hurting. It's a lot. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I always say in our community, and not make this a black and white or color thing,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to unify like they were doing years ago. The unity
Yes.
is almost a lost thing, particularly in our younger generation, our younger black men, and how to respect women, how to respect. You were taught those times how to speak to a woman, or not to say in front of a woman disrespectful. A lot of those
Yes.
things are not happening today. So as much as I can talk to someone that I know that will listen,
Mm-hmm.
I will, and I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for all of us, men and women. You see somebody saying something out of pocket, I'm not going to say every time, just go up there and say something to them because you don't know what can happen to you.
Yes.
But you can feel a vibration when you know they can go out there and let you in to kind of, hey, bro, you say you was
Yeah.
talking to that young lady? She's a
Yeah.
lady. Your mom's a lady.
Yeah.
But if I don't have any respect for my dad or my pop or didn't have anybody guiding me, I'm probably not going to have too much respect for anyone else
Yeah.
because I felt like I wasn't loved or raised well, and I'm only going to treat you what I know.
Yeah.
That's why that in coming back in whatever we said earlier, you do better when you know better.
Yes.
I can't give you something I don't know. So if when I had the people speaking up on the riot and
Mm-hmm.
why would the young men go into the neighborhoods and tear up their own neighborhood? Well, if
Yeah.
all I know is to combat people with a weapon or whatever I need to do to take care of myself,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm going to handle what I know. It's easy for you to say, why did they do that? Until you know you walk in their shoes.
Yeah.
You can condemn anybody you want to, but if you're not going to help lift it, there's not really much you can do about it if you're not going to try to make some change in the matter, which
Yeah.
makes it very tough these days. Very tough.
Yeah. Because I tell people all the time, I was like, I know for me, I'm like, you can't get if you're not someone that's raising boys, you can't give me no advice on raising more than one. On top of that, you can't give me no advice if you ain't never had no kid. Or
I don't
or
know if I can
or
totally agree with that. See,
or is
I don't know if I can totally agree with that. Not
being
to cut you off.
somebody active in a child's life. Like for
Hmm.
instance, let me tell you. So my one time my sister, she doesn't have any boys. She only has girls. Now she has two. But I already had all three of my kids. So we were having a discussion and she was basically trying to school me. Maybe it might not be for everybody, maybe just for my sister. And and she was trying to tell me basically how to raise my boys. And I was like, do you have boys? Do you know anything about raising boys? And you can't tell me. Maybe it was just a sister thing. Maybe it was just maybe it was that. But I was like, you can't tell me something. Or, for example, if me growing up in an urban community where we were in poverty and understanding that now that I'm being from that and then going into a nonprofit and being around the people that are going through that process now, because it still goes on. People think it's not there, but it still goes on. And being in all of that, it taught me how to relate to people and understand them a whole lot better because I've been through it, if that makes sense. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
No, I'm just saying. But I do say when some people say, I had someone say to me a long time ago, you wouldn't know how to take care of kids because you don't have children. And I said,
I completely agree with that.
But when that woman or that man had their first kid or their children, they didn't know it either.
No.
They did it by experience. They did it on as it was a teaching each time they walked through their process. So it's the same way I would have the same as a teaching. I can still know how to direct a kid or a young man. You know what I mean? So, and then again, it depends on who's giving you the information.
Yeah, that's true.
If they have kids and they buck wild and they're trying to tell you how to raise your kid, then I would take a step back and say, well, maybe I can give you some expertise on which you can probably learn of your kid, but I'm not going to try to tell you how to raise your kid.
It's always going to suggest things, but not trying to literally tell a person this is what you need to do. And they're looking at you like, but did you do it? Did you go through that process? Okay.
Yes, that's a very touchy situation too, because to tell the parent that how to test ties, how to do X with their children is not the easiest thing to walk into. It's not going to be. It's going to be a fight.
You'll get a whole full debate about it. Trust me, I have. But so we're down to our last minute. Time has flown by. So we definitely touched on do better when you know better. We definitely touched on that. But I want you to share with everybody where can they find you, and and what, and let them know what agency you are with again, if you would like.
Yeah, we're with Reinhardt Agency here in Philadelphia. Where you can find me, there's a pandemic going on, so you might want to find me at home for the most part. Or where else could you find me? I'm on Instagram, Andre Freeland, Andre.Freeland, ANDRE.FREELAND.